What's up, everybody? This is the Hinder Collector here doing another video. I wanted to talk about how to take apart a full tie Eklipse that's actually a, Gen 1. I got this in a trade today and I figured, why not? Why not? You can see that pale gold on there, so it's kind of a cool little pale gold on that. I love the blue accent on here, so it is kind of cool because see this one is my one that I use a lot, so this one's kind of cool, so I'm gonna have to get me it'll be kind of cool to get more of these. The detent is actually in good shape. I'm actually pushing as hard as I can. See, it's good blade. So this is pretty much the condition of the blade. It's actually pretty well put together for what you're getting in a knife, you can tell. And here's the other side. This thing is in immaculate condition. Here is my other one here. This is my user. As you can see, it is very heavenly, very, very used, and I kind of like that when it's a little used. Kind of shows its wear and tear. So now that I have two of these versions, now I can keep one nice and one, beat up. So that's my goal. So anyways, let it take apart. Let's take apart this Hinder today. Because, here, hold on. So this, as you can see, this one has the logos, as you can see. The same logos as, and I think they started, I don't know when, quote me if I'm wrong. They started doing them in 2012, so if I'm wrong, please comment down below. So anyways, here we go. This is how you take apart the XM18 Gen 1. So here's my other one. So here we go, guys. Let's take this bad boy apart, and here we go. So what I do first is when I take these things apart, and this is my only rule. It's a little stiff, that's why I don't think this thing has not been taken apart since. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a little oopsies. Oh dear. Sometimes, these normally stick. And, well, let's just say when it started sticking, I get my tweezers, and it kind of helps to pull that out. So this is where this comes along. These right here. And I think these are the best ones to use for anything to clean my knives with. I've had these for years, and as you can see, I have not used them all up yet. So we're gonna get a little bit closer to show you the cleaning process. So this is what I use them for. See this little guy here? You just pull this around. Give this thing a bit of a clean, get inside the, there we go. Get that all cleaned up there. There you go. So see, then, there's a little bit of wear on that. So now, get this right here. Break the seal, as I call it, So these are some of the screws that I like to take off. Now sometimes when I take apart my hinders, you know, sometimes, you know, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a more of a clean, you know, kind of feel to it. And sometimes when you give it a clean, get a clean paper towel here, which this one has been used. I like to use sometimes. So we'll take this and kind of give it a kind of a clean there. There you go. See, there's what from the last time. So we shall take the seal and break the seal. See how much. Yep, it has been sealed tight. That's one thing I love about this. So let's zoom out just a little bit, you know, a little bit out. So what I do is basically you put the tool on this side here, and this is when I grab this part, this, oh my gosh, they put a ton of Loctite in this. Ugh, okay. At least this is gonna be a long video. So if I'm quiet, that means I'm just letting you guys hear the sounds. Ooh. Jeez. Jeez, ways. Look at, do you see that? Look at that. That's quite a bit of some Loctite there. I see, yeah, kind of nailed, kind of marred a little bit, I could tell. That's okay. It's my knife anyways. Yep, I'm gonna give it a bit more of a cleaning here. Sorry guys, I know I'm doing this off screen. So I'm trying to give this a bit of a clean. There we go. So now I gave it somewhat, you know, of a good clean. And now that, you know, it's kind of gone, all that's gone now. So now let's concentrate now. So this is like a 7-minute video already. It's fine because I don't mind this. This is my therapy for me. So I'll just take the blue hardware out. And what I do is when I take the blue, anything that has, you know, hardware on it, I put it back on because I'm like, you know, it looks cool. Oh wow, that just popped right off. Just like that. Actually, this is very clean for being an old school knife here, guys. So we'll just take this bad boy and give this thing a bit of some good cleaning. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but this is a unmilled tie scale. These are pretty rare to come by for anything like back now. So it's kind of cool that I own this now, and I have something that's in Hinder history, as I call it. So I give this a little clean here, give this a bit more because kind of doing this off camera, so it's a little bit, you know, kind of gives it a little more. So I'll probably get a little bit of some Windex, give that a Windex bath, I call it. Now let's see, let's push this aside and take the little washers here, kind of take them out, give them a little. The washers are in great shape. I mean, this is why I love old Hinderers. Those washers are in great shape. Let's see. There we go. Give them a nice little clean there. More or less, that is good. So here's the blade. You could definitely tell there was a little bit of wear and tear from those washers over time. Oh yeah, even on this. Yep, there you go. That tells you there. A little bit of cleaning goes a long way. Look at there. Boom. There it is right there. Goes a long way once you give this thing a good clean. There you go. Get this thing good clean. You know, make sure you get everything. Now here's one thing. Now I noticed about this. So I have a Gen 1. You know, I have another one, and this does not have the drilled, tapped and drilled, hole in this one. This one does not. So it's kind of cool that I have two versions of it, I guess. So that's kind of cool. And, look at this thing. Oh my gosh, look at that blade. Man, that is some clean sharpening, guys. Clean, clean. Very clean. And also, it is awesome that I get to own these knives, like I said. So, let me get a little bit of Windex. So I get a little Windex on there. So you get a little bit of that. Wipe it on. And then, I get it clean. This is my clean towel here. Kind of tore this up a little bit. There we go. So I kind of do a little bit of a swipe here kind of thing. Give this thing back in the glory days when it was, you know, brand new. This thing is now popping. Look at this. Look at that gold. Now you can really see the gold. And you know, it looks super clean. Super duper clean. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look, it shines. It shines. Look at, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And I love this because of that. So there's that little guy there. So now, take apart every little bit of this knife tonight. So we're going to do a little more cleaning to this thing. Kind of gives it a little more cleaning, a little more meaning to it. And I know y'all been wanting longer videos. I've heard some people tell me, you know, I want to see some longer videos, so I'm doing this for you guys. So this, now look at this. This thing right here, never been cleaned yet. So I put a little bit of Windex right on top of it. Gives it a little more of a shine to it. Gives it a little more shine to it, yeah. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, there we go. And now we get, see, there's a blue, like, filler, like, LBS. Lock bar stabilizer. I'll probably, if I ever found some stonewash set for this, I'm gonna make this all stonewash just to make it kind of cool. But I think the blue just gives it a pop to it, so I'm probably going to keep this blue on here just for the look. I love this. And look at there, guys. Now you can really see the gold. It's a real pale gold, but it's just, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. So now, here is the big awesome part of the video, is basically As you can see, there we go. So this is what it looks like. So we're going to get this out of there. There we go. And now here is the final part. The final part of this bad boy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put it all back together, give it a good cleaning off. Now we shall put it all back on. Give this thing a bit of a good clean here, you know, kind of give this thing a bit of a this one's giving me a fight. So as I was, you know, did a lot of talking in this video today, but I figure why not, you know, gives you something to think about, you know, when you get an old vintage knife, because this is kind of vintage. The Gen 1 Eclipses came out in 2014, and they're still in production today. A little more modifications on them, you know, they kind of made a little mods to them. Made the blades a little more, you know, pretty much, you know, to the point. They made it feel more, you know, whole. Like basically, they took this little hump right here and made it a little bit bigger up here. They kind of redesigned the top of this up here, so for the Gen 2s. So that tells you how that is in a way. So there's that, and this is pretty much how it looks. So we shall put this. Let me give you a little close up here for you. So what you do is when you put in this is what I like to use, a little bit of some ultra light KPL knife pivot lube. I always like to two small lines of dots there, and then I snug that in there. And then I put two nice and large there, and then put a nice big old gulp, I like to call it. And there we go. And there we go. Just put a little bit of that on top of that. And then snug it all back on. And then, hold on. Let me give you a little more. Kind of a little bit here. Sorry, I'm left-handed, so it's a little more profound on things on that. Oh yeah, by the way, here's look how blue that is. It's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty beautiful. Alright, now the fun part. Putting the pivot back in. There we go. Now it slides right back in. Now it's still has some of that glue in there, that, you know, some of the original Loctite, which I think that's good that it still does, even though I gave it a good clean out of it. So see, now we're gonna get into the. Now you don't want to over tighten this. That's just the one thing you don't really want to do. Whoops. So here's the fun part. And once you get to the point where, you know, you want to get just about like, you want to get a good sense that it's going to be perfect. So what you do, you grab your screwdriver and just barely do it. Just barely. And if it's centered, oh yeah, it's dead centered. And, you know, now it just falls. Gives a good fall. There you go. There's all of that. Put our little Earl up here. So this is what else I do too, guys. When I want to make, so this is the heavy, and if you can read this a little bit, it's for the detent track. So I put a tiny little drop. Tiny little drop. Hold on a second. Let me open her up here. Give it a little tiny little. There we go. That's all you need. And look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Anyways, as you guys know, I really hope you guys like this video. And, you know, make sure, you know, if you want to see more of these kind of long videos of me just ranting and talking a little bit here and there, let me know. So, anyways, guys, have a good one. Bye, guys. Stay sharp.